They don't know who is the final decision maker. Of course, presumably the president will take the final decision, but who is playing what role? Sometimes, it could be very confusing. His comments come amid high political and economic tensions between the world's two largest economies, with officials from both nations having traded ever harsher barbs in recent weeks. He also dismissed as groundless a suggestion by Vice-President Mike Pence that China has orchestrated an effort to meddle in U.S. domestic affairs. Pence ramped up the rhetoric in a speech on October 4, saying Beijing has created a whole-of-government approach to sway American public opinion, including spies, tariffs, coercive measures and a propaganda campaign. His comments were some of the most critical about China by a high-ranking U.S. official in recent memory. Loading playing in 5, He said U.S. moves to trade arms with Taiwan were an example of the U.S. meddling in Chinese domestic affairs. The Trump administration has increasingly moved to break with decades of convention and increase U.S. interaction with Taiwan, despite officially recognizing Chinese ownership under the One China policy. He also accused the U.S. of going on the offensive by sending U.S. Navy vessels into the South China Sea. It's not Chinese warships that are going to the coast of California or to the Gulf of Mexico, he said, referring to U.S. destroyers sailing near islands claimed by China in the South China Sea on September 30. It's so close to the Chinese islands and it is so close to the Chinese coast. So who is on the offensive, who is on the defensive? This is very clear. The tough words followed months of increases tit-for-tat tariffs imposed by Washington and Beijing that have ballooned to cover hundreds of billions of dollars in bilateral trade. Escalating Roe in a recent interview with National Public Radio, He said the U.S. has not sufficiently dealt in good faith with the Chinese on trade matters, saying the U.S. position keeps changing all the time so we don't know exactly what the U.S. would want as priorities. Chinese President Xi Jinping. Credit. The escalating trade row was seen as a contributing factor to last week's global market rout that sent the U.S. Loading. Larry Kudlow, the White House economic director, said on Sunday that U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping would probably meet at the G20 summit in Buenos Aires in late November. There's plans and discussions and agendas being discussed, he said. He said he was present at two previous meetings of Xi and Trump, and that top-level communication played a key role, an irreplaceable role, in guiding the relationship forward. Despite current tensions, the two have a good working relationship, he said. So far, talks with China on trade have been unsatisfactory, Kudlow said. We've made our asks on allegations of intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers, he added. We have to have reciprocity. Bloomberg, Reuters, Washington Post.